Hey everyone, and welcome to the developer Q&A video for Eve Echoes. It's not very often that I do an exclusive developer Q&A video, but considering the fact that we didn't have a weekly roundup and we've not had developer Q&A for a couple of weeks, there's no point waiting a whole other week just to get this video included in the weekly roundup. You will notice that the date stamp for this developer Q&A is for the 5th of September to the 11th of September, so this was released a couple of weeks behind. That's mostly because the developer's most likely going on holiday and attending the Eve FanFest. So without any further ado, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and we'll move on into question number 1. And as always, they appear to have all been answered by the same person, in this case NetEase's Water Knight. Question number 1. Is there any update coming involving high-sec encounters? Right now, until hitting tier 10, the encounters are very underwhelming. An increase in payouts would be very welcome, especially for solo players. And the answer they've included is, we will add more PvE content in the future, and there will also be better rewards. Stay tuned. The main problem with high-sec encounters isn't necessarily the lack of rewards, because considering the low risk, especially at T10 that is, especially considering the low risk of the high-sec encounters and the amount of risk you can get in a similar ship in nullsec, it is quite close, it's quite comparable. I know, yes, you can get more in nullsec if you jump in a carrier, etc. But with regards to regular T10 encounters, we don't need buffs. What we need is much more diverse content. Something that, forces us to think on our feet, where we can't just use the same overpowered, blinged up ratting ship that we always have done. Maybe give us some combat anomalies that are locked behind a warp acceleration gate, and that warp gate is limited to cruisers and below. And all of the bounties on the ships in there will be the same, if not higher, to account for the fact that you're in a smaller ship. But you have to do a completely different playstyle because you're in, say, a cruiser. That's the sort of change that we need for high-sec encounters. But anyway, that's just me showing my opinion and going on a bit of a ramble. Let's move on to question number 2. So, question number 2. With the recent anniversary medal, I love how it looks and makes me proud that I was part of that event. Currently, there are only 3 slots for the medals worn. I would like to showcase all of my unique medals. Is that a chance for you devs to increase the medal slots by 1 or 2 more? Players may need to purchase these slots using AUR or Plex to increase it, or have it tied to skills or both. Thank you for this suggestion. God, that one's a bit hard for my dyslexic brain. You might have noticed a couple of little mistakes there with me reading it. I'm not sure about having skills trained to show off more medals. I'm not sure if anybody would actually train them. Anyway, let's move on to the answer. The medal slots are initially meant for pilots to display the medals they personally find the most valuable or want to showcase. For now, we probably wouldn't do any changes to it. However, we really appreciate your suggestion and we'll keep it in mind for future updates and improvements. Thank you for sharing your feedback and hope you keep enjoying Eve Echoes. If they were to introduce more medals that you could show off at once, the best way would be just to have like the smallest icon for them possible and have them just all lined up on a rack, as it were. And yeah, maybe charge, I don't know, 500 AUR or something for it. I mean, I'm not going to complain about charging for cosmetic items. That's, kind of an acceptable funding policy, I guess. But anyway, let's move on to question number 3. Can you implement regular dynamic events or crises in the game's universe? These events could range from natural disasters to alien invasions, creating opportunities for players to collaborate or compete in response. This would inject excitement and unpredictability into the Eve Echoes universe, keeping players engaged and encouraging emergent gameplay. This idea didn't come completely out of the blue, guys. In EVE Online, they do have, and I'm really going to butcher this name because I never really learned how to pronounce it, the Triglavians? Okay, we'll go with Triglavians. As I understand it, because I'm no expert on EVE Online, the Triglavians invaded Concord space and basically occupied it, and there was some kind of fight that Capsuleers had to engage in to help determine where the borders would be. Something like that. So there is precedent for it in EVE Online, so we could see something like that in the future in EVE Echoes, but I think the devs would want to finish setting the foundations, as it were, with regards to what toys we get to play with, before they did something like that. But let's have a look at the answer. That's such a cool idea, we love it. We'll definitely explore the possibilities. Furthermore, we'll include various gameplays to our future development plan to enhance the overall experience. Stay tuned for more updates. So this sounds something that they'd be very passionate about. But as I said, the undertaking required to pull this off, I wouldn't be surprised if they just avoided doing it until they've finished setting the foundations, giving us all of our new ships, new structures, new Cobalt Edge regions, etc. But let's move on to question number 4. Question number 4. Is there any possibility you could implement nanocore exchange on intelligent AI nanocores Gold? Most of us already have several AI cores not being used. I have 4 sitting in my inventory, and which I would have since moved on from using after several patches. So my dyslexic brain kicked in there. Balancing and or stat changes. We wish we could exchange them for a different ship. This will definitely help a lot of players stay in game. Why? Okay, so the golden nanocore, when you commit so many resources to a nanocore, whether it's purple or gold, you're committing to that resource. You're saying, I don't care how much stuff I put into this. I don't... This one really hurts my brain. All it takes is a tiny balance patch, and people say, oh, my ship isn't relevant anymore because this other ship does 0.1% more DPS. But what happened to flying things that we like? I don't know, I'm programmed differently. Let's move on to the answer before I upset someone. So, answer. We pay close attention to the player's experience on AI cores and would like to optimize it. Nanocore exchange is one option we consider implementing. We'll make a timely update to it based on the player data and feedback. Thank you for bringing this to our attention. Yeah, typical response. Well, anyway, that about rounds it up for this week's developer Q&A. I say this week, it's technically a week and a half ago's developer Q&A. If this past week's developer Q&A drops over the coming week, I'll be sure to record it. Wow, my brain clearly hasn't woken up. I'll be sure to record it and upload it straight here. But until then, thanks again for listening, guys, and see you guys in the next video.